Thank you, sir. MOS is addressing the question. I quite take the suggestion given by Honorable Member Vivek Tanka. Certainly, one of the things which we like to consider, I'm not giving it as an assurance because it's more in the domain of the RBI. But there are discussions between the government and the RBI to see how best we can have various different similar such schemes through which we are able to draw foreign remittances which are directly, like the way you've said, foreign currency remittances into the accounts and so on. There has been something which the RBI has already worked on and also announced in the recent past. However, with all this said, on the value of the Indian rupee, interventions which are happening from the RBI side are more for containing volatility which is happening between Indian rupee and the dollar and so on. Even the interventions being made by RBI is not so much to determine the value, increase it or decrease it of the Indian rupee. It's not for that. It is more to avoid the volatility and allow it to find its course because it's free. India, like many other countries, is not pitching its currency at a level from extraneously. So the ways in which we want to strengthen having foreign currencies coming into India are very many, and RBI and the ministry are fairly engaged in it. I take your input, but of course for the parliamentary sake, I would want to emphasize that it is not an assurance Ministry of Finance is going to be able to give it. That's something for me to certainly pass it on to RBI now that the Honourable Member has said it.
Supplementary by Babu Ram Mishra. Babu Ram Nishad.
सभापति जी, मैं प्रश्न करना चाहता हूं। यूपीए तथा एनडीए के कार्यकाल में डॉलर के मुकाबले रुपये में गिरावट आने में क्या अंतर है?
जहां यूपी के कार्यकाल में यानी 2004 से 14 में रुपए के मूल्य में कभी किसी वर्ष में लगभग 10 से 12% की दर से गिरावट आई थी, जबकि हमारी सरकार के कार्यकाल में 8 वर्षों में यानी 14 से लेकर अब तक एक वर्ष में कभी 7.8 अधिकतम रहा है। वर्तमान में अमेरिकी डॉलर की तुलना में भारतीय रुपए के मूल्य में बढ़ोतरी दर लगभग 4.54% रहा है।
Sri Lujendra Falaro.
Chairman, sir, I appreciate the reply given, but the fact is, for the last 6 months, the rupee has depreciated 28 times by 34%. I was reading today's newspaper, which says it will further depreciate. And the fact is, the foreign exchange reserves has declined to US dollar 572 billion by mid-July because of pressure of costly imports of crude, oil, coal, gold, etc. This is having a very bad effect on the economy. Can the Honorable Minister assure us that something will be done immediately to arrest the collapse of a rupee? Thank you.
First of all, a very senior member has raised a very important issue. There is no collapse of the rupee. I'm just picking up on what the Honourable Member has said. Indian rupees fluctuations are more versus the dollar, the US dollar. And even there, the performance of the Indian rupee is much better than its own peers. We've withstood the impact of the US Fed's decisions much better than any other peer currencies. And actually, if you compare Indian rupee versus other currencies, it's appreciating in its value. So let us please understand the context and speak about the Indian rupee, there's no collapse, sir. Honorable member, I would like to assure you through you, sir, there is no collapse of the Indian rupee. And also to speak about the reserves coming down. We are still somewhere in the range of 500 and, let me give you what I had of this morning. As of 22nd July, it was at 571.56 billions reserves. And therefore, it's not a small amount. Yes, some, when it was in the range of 600, and now it's come down to in the range of higher ends of 500, 571, and so on, we are still comfortably placed. So I want the House to take into cognizance Indian rupee's performance versus others, whether it's the US pound, UK pound, and so on, and therefore contextualize India rupee's performance versus the US, particularly because of the various steps which are being taken by the US Fed. So there's no collapse. It is actually finding its natural course. As I said, the RBI is continuously monitoring it and intervening only if there is volatility. RBI's intervention are not so much to fix the value of the Indian rupee because it's free to find its own course.